Really, man?
One more time, folks, here on the LA Sparks 365 Network, and welcome in, folks, to the two-man show of record that we like to call around here the guys with the petition. Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Studio 171 in the Anaheim Studios up in Anaheim, California. Cal McClurg and Chris Woodmansey are joining me, folks, here. Chris, one more time of the night, man. How's it hanging on our last show for the night?
I'm just going crazy over here.
All right, Chris. Again, folks, to interact with the petition show on Twitter, send us a tweet to @LASparks365 with the hashtag TGWTP, hashtag TGWTP to @LASparks365. Okay, Chris, here we are, man. Monday, May 12th, 2014, which I believe, Chris, makes it only 4 days, I believe, until the start of the 2014 season. Am I correct?
Uh, I think so because the countdown has 3 days.
Well, Chris, either way, man, 4 days away at least in my terms here, because I go by midnight, not till game time. But again, man, you know, like we always do on the show, up until Thursday at least, when we have our big going out here on the petition show, is again, man, you know, this is like the season, man, that could not have happened again, because we know, man, again, like we're going to talk about on our lengthy petition show on Thursday night, man, is, you know, the 2014 season, man, may not have happened had we not have done our due diligence, I believe, over the off season. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
So again, folks, a program of 30 folks here on Thursday. We are wiping every program off of our block on Thursday to bring you a probably like a long 2-hour show, perhaps, folks, of just to talk about the petition. It's going to be a 2-hour show, folks. Reason being, it's going to be our Throwback Thursday. For one day only, folks, we're going to repost the link for you folks to the petition. You can't sign up, folks, because it's been closed and we can't reopen it again, but it's going to be a Throwback Thursday to the petition link that occurred over the off season on Thursday, May 15th from 9 to 11. Chris, I mean, this, again, man, this is the last time we talk about our efforts before we put a lid on it and throw it in the ocean and get ready to talk about the season, man. So one more time on Thursday for a 2-hour get-together, man, and then we're talking WNBA and the petition show come Friday night.
Yep.
So, Chris, like we normally do here on the petition show, man, we're going to start off with you. Again, because you were the main founding father of this petition during the off season. Again, man, we know about what occurred over the holidays with the Sparks Watch beginning with the article with the letters by President Malcolm. Chris, Chris, tell the viewers out there where you and I were when we talked about this petition campaign.
I think we're the. I want to say, I think on FaceTime. Yeah, I think it was. We're on FaceTime, and we're talking about a petition, and either I think you went to sleep, and I thought about it, and then I texted you, and I started from there.
Folks, in case you forgot that Larry Burnett was a guest of mine on my Saturday morning radio show on Mountain Country 107.9 FM, and Chris, for everyone that was in attendance there, myself and my two co-hosts, Chris, I gave them a sheet like this of a timeline of the Sparks 2014 offseason, Chris. Let's go back and revisit this here, Chris. So, Chris, this is the Sparks Watch 2014 recap, the offseason that almost ended the Sparks and the WNBA. So, Chris, we're going to go back and revisit December 31st, which is in an email sent to team employees by President Vince Malcolm, announces that all employees would be laid off after the Madison family announced it would be relinquishing ownership control of the Sparks. So, Chris, there's that part. And, Chris, in your mind, man, I mean, what do you make about the timing of President Malcolm's email to the employees, right, about a week or so, Chris, after Christmas, getting ready to go into 2014? I mean, what did you think about that?
It was just terrible, right a week going into 2014 and New Year, and that had to happen, and it was also had to happen right when Candace Parker got her number retired.
Well, to clean up on Islewood Mancy, it had her jersey retirement was January 2nd. The email was out on December 31st. Then, Chris, January 3rd, in a SwitchAppeal.com article, it is announced that Paula Madison's family, Chris, left because of her financial situation, Chris. She lost over $12 million since she bought the franchise from the Buss family in 2007, Chris. So, I mean, I get, Chris, where Paula comes from, Chris, because this day and age, man, you know, money is very tight for everybody. And $12 million, Chris, for the WNBA franchise, I kind of see why, Chris, she left. And, I mean, we know about the snafu with Farmers Insurance and the jersey sponsorship, Chris. But, again, you know, I see where she's coming from, Chris. I mean, $12 million is a lot of money, Chris, to lose with any pro franchise. But, Chris, to have it with a WNBA franchise, though, Chris, ouch. $12 million, man, is a lot of money to be out from.
Yep, agreed.
So then, Chris, of course, the following day, January 4th, it is announced by SwitchAppeal.com, Chris, that the NBA's Golden State Warriors began to show their interest in buying and acquiring the Sparks to move them to the Bay Area. Again, Chris, you know, I know that we love, you know, kind of rubbing it into the Warriors about, you know, what they did during the offseason. But, Chris, again, I believe solely, man, that had Joe Lacob and the Warriors not been involved, man, the Sparks could have folded right after I think they were put up for sale.
Yep, agreed.
Then, of course, Chris, the big day. January 5th, the online petition started by us two here circulates across social media to get fans to voice their opinion to keep the team in LA and not to disband or relocate the franchise. So, Chris, there it is right there on January 5th, right? The big day.
Yep.
Then the following day, Chris, January 6th, the Spark situation triggers panic amongst the other, Chris, the Spark situation triggers panic amongst the opposing franchises and fan bases about the team either leaving or folding, which, Chris, would have been a potential death sentence to the league because, Chris, had the marquee franchise that everyone, regardless if they watch the league or not, Chris, ties solely to the WNBA, Chris, which would be the Sparks. Had they have left or folded, Chris, that would have been the lethal injection, the electric chair, the hanging, the end, Chris, the death of the WNBA. Do you believe that would have happened? Because I know for sure that a lot of people said hell yes to that one.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, it would have been a big blow. And then, Chris, January 12th, the Golden State Warriors owner Joe Lacob announces the team is ready, Chris, to make their move and acquire a team within a 2 to 3 week window period. Then, Chris, January 14th, about 9 days, Chris, after the petition started, Chris, January 14th, the Sparks petition hits the 1,000 signature mark. Chris, 1,000 people in 9 days. Wow.
Yep.
And then, of course, Chris, January 17th, the Sparks fans, at least, Chris, start jumping off a cliff. You know who I'm talking about with this one here, because they are kind of concerned, Chris, about their deposits put down for season tickets if the Sparks leave or fold. And, of course, Chris, January 24th is a turning point here, Chris, because Michelle Smith from ESPNW announces in an article that there may be, Chris, an ownership group to purchase the team and keep them in Los Angeles. So, Chris, January 24th, man, when I know that we talked about the article, Chris, on the Sports Lounge, what'd you make, though, about the article posted on January 24th from Michelle Smith from ESPNW?
Just weird.
In what regard?
What?
In what regard?
I don't know.
Okay, anyway. So then, Chris, the big day, February 2nd. Not the Super Bowl blowout, Chris, but Joe Lacob announces on KNBR Radio in Frisco that the Warriors deadline has passed and they will not buy the Sparks. And then, Chris, to end Sparks Watch, February 5th, 2014, Irving, Magic Johnson, and Mark Walter, Chris, purchase our beloved LA Sparks. Chris, in all irony, Chris, they were bought 1 month after the opening and creation of the Sparks petition. So, Chris, out of all that, man, let's go from here, man. Just to know this, Chris, just remember this. Our petition opened January 5th, Chris. 1 month later, the Sparks were bought, and they are staying in Los Angeles, California. Just let that sink in, man, that a whole month of tweets, of player involvement, of sports lounge shows, of 2 a.m. going to sleep, that a whole month after the petition started, man, Magic Johnson and Mark Walter bought the team 1 month after the creation of our fan base petition.
Hello?
Yeah. No comment.
Yeah, there's just no words left, folks. There really is just, because Chris, there's just nothing left to say. And folks, we finally put a wrap to this on Thursday night on our 2-hour special from 9 to 11 here on the network about the petition campaign. But again, Chris, you know, I am just, you know, I've kind of been a bit worried though too, man, about Sunday, about if anyone recognized me. I know that Vicky Russo is going to be there, as will Jack and Chris, but I'm interested though, man. If some random person, you know, sitting next to me in 118, Chris, sees me or, you know, recognizes me from somewhere, may say, "Thanks for the petition." Chris, what do you think happens on Sunday night?
Someone's probably gonna recognize us, recognize you. I don't know. Probably put you on the jumbotron, gather the petition, and then they're probably gonna put, because they're probably not gonna know. They're probably no, Doug. Just what do they think your dad's the other guy with the petition?
I don't know about that one. If that happens, we got a major problem. But no, Chris, I was laughing because they might put me on the jumbotron and might say, like, I don't know, happy 20th birthday perhaps or something like that, or something. I mean, I don't know, man, but I don't know about my dad being the other guy with the petition, Chris, because he doesn't know about this campaign. Only my mom does, because she's a WNBA fan. My dad doesn't know about it. He's just going to the game just to be there and just to be with his son on his 20th birthday, Chris. And for all I know, he might freaking boo Diana Taurasi, and I will laugh my ass off if that actually happens. But Chris, again, you know, Chris, this is like the one birthday, I think, that I can recall in recent memory that I have really been excited for. Chris, I know that we've got our little campaign that's going on to try to get me to do the PA job for the lineups, at least on the 18th, that we need to kind of get back on the trail here. We're running out of time. But, Chris, I think the last time I had a birthday of this magnitude, man, where I was going to a sporting event and I was going to have a blast like this, man, ironically, Chris, what I did 10 years ago on my 10th birthday was I announced an inning at a Padres game at Qualcomm Stadium against the Braves, Chris. And how awesome was it, Chris, that I was 10 years old on the Jumbotron, my name on the scoreboard, Chris, that I got a sold-out standing ovation from the Padre fans at Qualcomm Stadium 10 years ago on May 18th, man. And for all that I know, man, if you actually tweet that hashtag out of that demo, man, you might get me there again 10 years later at a Sparks game, man. So I don't know what to make of it, man, but it's going to be one of the more fun birthdays I've had in quite some time.
Yeah.
So again, folks, Sparks home opener May 18th with a free T-shirt on Sunday night for the first 5,000 people through the doors at the Staples Center. But again, folks, to recap again, our Thursday night show, folks, this will be the only show you see on the network. On Thursday, we're going to be doing a whole 2-hour get-together, folks, from 9 to 11. And, Chris, we're going to try to bring on a few of the people that had a role in our petition, Chris, which will include Shorty Mama 24 and Tranisha Hardy on Thursday night. Because, Chris, again, man, you know, without Shorty and Tranisha, man, you know, this isn't, you know, this is not a petition that gets 1,000 plus. You know, without you and me doing it on a consistent basis, you know, without us talking about it on the Sports Lounge, we're not anywhere close to 1,000 people, man. So we're going to try our best, Chris, to bring on those two on Thursday night.
All right.
But again, Chris, you know, I know that you are like still stunned about what this effort did, man. But can you sort of talk about at least, you know, can you just kind of like talk about, you know, this past offseason, if you even have any words to put it into, to even put it out there for the folks at all?
No, just on words.
Chris, let's go back to and recap the night we heard about the Sparks staying in Los Angeles. And I believe it was on February 5th, Chris. And I believe you had just called me. You had just gotten off work at the thrift shop down there at Goodwill. And I believe you're at the bus stop. and I believe I was home or I just finished something, Chris, and I was reading through tweets on Twitter, and I saw you-know-who out there, Chris, tweet out that the Sparks were in Los Angeles. And, Chris, what was your reaction when you heard me say that, bro, the Sparks are staying in L.A.? Did you, like, pass out? Did you faint? Did you, did your jaw break where we had to call an ambulance to call a 911 to, put it back in place? I mean, what happened out there with you, man? Because I know there was some, dead silence out there, some silence on the phone for about a good minute or so. I mean, what happened?
Well, I was on the bus, and I was, I was, right when you brought it, I was on the bus. I know exactly where I was. I was on the bus, standing up, right by, it was by Knott's Berry Farm, too, by the way, too, so you know. It was by Knott's Berry Farm, the irony. I was on the bus, by Knott's Berry Farm, standing up, and then right when you said, I forgot what your words were, I think, oh my God, or is that for the win or something? We're staying in LA. Sparks are staying in LA, and then there was silence on the phone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that Chris's jaw dropped. He passed out or fainted for all I know, folks. I mean, Chris, that was the best news we heard during that entire 35-day period, Chris, was, something like that. Because, Chris, we didn't have jack crap. We had no knowledge of a situation from the Sparks, from the WNBA, from anyone involved, Chris, but Larry Burnett and our guys over at SwishAppeal.com, which was Albert Lee, James Bowman, and Nate Parham. Because, Chris, I mean, that day, I think, is probably the best day so far of the entire year until next Sunday, of course, when I go to the game at Staples Center. But, Chris, that basically is the day of the year so far, is that happening, of, the struggle, the silence, nothing that we heard. There was nothing. There was, the volume on the, Chris, the volume from the WNBA was turned all the way down to zero for that entire 35-day span, Chris. And then we hear the news, and of course, you're bound to faint. You're bound to pass out. You're bound to have your jaw drop, Chris. You're bound to be stunned like you were, and still are. But I mean, there's no way else to put it, man. But to know that this petition, Chris, may not have played a big role like Magic and Mark, Chris, but it had a pretty damn big enough role, Chris, to save a pro franchise in the city of Los Angeles.
Yep, agreed. Because, like, Ramel Schoenberg retweeted it, Candace Parker, DMJ, Cynthia Cooper, former Sparks players, Marissa Coleman, and, yeah.
Chris, I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, we did get those people. We did get Candace Parker. We did get Marissa the Turtle Coleman. We did get Cynthia Cooper. We got Delisha Milton-Jones. We got Cynthia Cooper, Ramona Shelburne, Michelle Smith, our guys over at SwishAppeal.com, Teacha Pinachero, Chris, Jeannie Buss probably saw the damn petition. Magic saw the damn petition. Lisa Leslie saw the petition, Chris. So that those people, Chris, saw it. They know about it, and we're in articles on the website. I had to write an article on the last day of the watch. So, Chris, that we're out there. They know our names. They know our Twitter handles, Chris. And now it's just a matter of who I run into on Sunday, and we'll see if anyone follows us back on Twitter following that game on Sunday night.
Yep, and you said Chicago called the Lakers, which also Candace Parker's mom works for them, which Candace Parker even retweeted, so...
Well, another cleanup on what Mancy, Chris. It was actually Michael Alter calling the WNBA to talk to the Lakers, to talk to Magic Johnson, not the Lakers calling Michael Alter. But still, though, Chris, I mean, we had a helping hand, Chris, from everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a Sparks fan, you're a Mercury fan, a Storm fan, a Lynx fan, Chris. Everyone pitched in and had a helping hand in the cause, and we do thank everyone out there for supporting the effort, folks. And again, if you're going to the game on Sunday, 118, row 12, seats 8 and 9, folks. Come say hi to one of the guys from the petition, because it sounds like for some damn reason Chris can't make it to a game this year because somebody we know out there just loves to keep pissing Chris off, and it sounds like we can't go to a game this season, but we'll see what occurs. But you can at least say hi to one of the guys, folks, on Sunday night. But Chris, again, you know, everybody out there, from the Sparks to the Mercury, the Storm, the Lynx, to Chris, everyone across the league. You know, we thank everybody out there for their support, and we'll do so again, Chris, on our last show for the petition on Thursday night.
Yep, agreed. And I'll even text Alex, even though he's he's probably not gonna text back. He's probably, I don't know, he's probably pissed probably. It's a game probably. But I'm gonna tell him, I'm thanking you for helping out with the petition, because you don't even watch the WNBA, and you even have love with the cause.
Yeah, folks. So, again, on Thursday, folks, we will have our whole laundry list of thank yous, folks. So, again, on Thursday, the guys with the petition, the 2-hour special, Thursday night from 9 to 11 right here on the LA Sparks 365 Network here, folks. Again, on Friday night, don't forget, folks, news shows debut following the Sparks Storm game, folks, including Buzzer Beater LA, the Fab Forum, and the W, all that on Friday night. Following the conclusion of the Sparks Storm game, and on Sunday, Press Pass Sparks debuts right here on the LA Sparks 365 Network. So, folks, that will close out our block of shows for the night here, folks. We'll see you folks tomorrow night back here on the Sparks Network. So, Chris, thanks for hanging in there tonight, man, and we'll talk to you on FaceTime only tonight following the show, and we'll talk to you then, and thanks for coming on.
All right, and I'll tell you something. That one will be doing something really surprising, special.
If it's concerning May 18th, I'm already getting nervous. But on that case, folks, anyways, folks, that is the end, folks, of the Sparks 365 block tonight, folks. So we'll see you folks tomorrow night back here at 9 p.m. with Sparks 365 training camp central, folks. So we'll see you folks then until tomorrow night. Have a safe night. Drive home safe. Thank you for coming. And good night now. This is the LA Sparks 365 Network, folks. We are Sparks. We are LA.